Success is a fascinating paradox. Two individuals walk into their offices at exactly 6 a.m. every morning. Both stay late, often past 9 p.m. Both skip lunches, work weekends, and pour their hearts into everything they do. On paper, they're identical, same education, same determination, same fierce work ethic. Yet 5 years later, one is leading a thriving organization while the other is still working those same long hours, wondering why success feels just out of reach. I've seen this story play out hundreds of times over the past 3 decades. And every time it reinforces a powerful truth. Hard work alone isn't enough. Now, before you misunderstand me, hard work is essential. It's non-negotiable. But it's just one ingredient in a much more complex recipe. Through my research of over 1,000 highly successful individuals across 45 countries, I've discovered something remarkable. The most successful people aren't always the ones who work the hardest. They're the ones who understand how to amplify their efforts through what I call success multipliers. If pure hard work was the answer, every construction worker would be a millionaire. Every restaurant kitchen staff would be wealthy. Every factory worker would be rich. But we know that's not how it works. I started my own journey, believing the same thing many of you might believe right now, that if I just worked harder than everyone else, success would inevitably follow. I spent years grinding away, putting in countless hours, thinking I was doing everything right. Until one day, a mentor asked me a question that changed everything. If you're working so hard, why aren't you getting exponentially better results? That question led me down a path of discovery that transformed my understanding of success. I began studying the subtle differences between those who achieve extraordinary success and those who merely work hard. What I discovered wasn't just surprising, it was revolutionary. The real secret lies in understanding and mastering 7 critical multipliers that transform ordinary effort into extraordinary results. These are the hidden forces that separate the ultra-successful from everyone else. What fascinates me most is that these principles aren't just theory. They're proven strategies that have created millionaires across every industry, every market condition, and every economic climate. And the best part, anyone can learn them. Anyone can apply them. Anyone can transform their life through them. What you need to understand about these success multipliers, they work silently in the background, amplifying everything you do. When you grasp these principles, something magical happens. Your hard work finally starts paying off the way you always dreamed it would. The first of these critical multipliers reveals why some people seem to accomplish more in a month than others do in a year. And it all starts with understanding a fundamental truth about success that most people never grasp. Hard work can actually be a trap. Yes, you heard that right. A trap that keeps countless talented, dedicated individuals stuck in a cycle of endless effort with limited results. Let me share something that happened just last month. I met a brilliant software engineer. Let's call him Michael. Michael was putting in 14-hour days, coding through weekends, skipping vacations. His dedication was incredible. But when I looked at his results compared to his colleagues, something stood out. Another developer on his team, Sarah, was producing better results in half the time. The difference, Sarah understood something Michael didn't. She grasped that productivity isn't about the hours you put in, it's about the strategy behind those hours. Studies show that after 55 hours of work per week, productivity actually drops so significantly that working more hours produces nothing of value. Nothing. Zero. Yet I meet people every day who pride themselves on working 70, 80, even 90 hours per week. We've all heard the story of the tortoise and the hare. But what if the tortoise had actually been working smarter, not just slower? What if the tortoise had a GPS while the hare was running in circles? I learned this lesson the hard way early in my career. I was that person, the first one in, last one out, working through lunch, proud of my dedication. My colleagues would joke that I must have a sleeping bag under my desk. And yes, I was successful to a point, but I hit a ceiling that felt unbreakable until I realized something profound. The most successful people I've studied don't just work hard. They work purposefully. They understand that every hour invested must have strategic value. They know that blind effort is like trying to chop down a tree with a dull axe. You'll eventually succeed, but at what cost? Let me give you some real numbers. Research from Harvard Business Review shows that top performers in any field don't necessarily work more hours. Instead, they focus on what I call strategic leverage points, activities that create exponential rather than linear results. Warren Buffett doesn't work more hours than the average business person. Bill Gates doesn't write more code than the average programmer. What they do differently is focus their energy on activities that multiply their results. The truth about hard work is that it's necessary but not sufficient. It's the foundation, not the building. It's the engine, but not the GPS. Without direction, without strategy, without understanding these critical success multipliers, hard work is like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Once you understand how to combine hard work with these success multipliers, everything changes. Your effectiveness multiplies, your impact expands, your results start compound like interest in a high yield account. This brings us to the first of our 7 critical success multipliers, the principle that transformed my own approach to work and has helped thousands of others break through their success ceiling. This principle is so powerful that once you understand it, you'll never look at work the same way again. The first and most crucial multiplier is the difference between strategic thinking and tactical execution. This changed everything for me, and it will for you too. Picture a chess grandmaster. While amateur players focus on the next move, masters think 5, 10, even 15 moves ahead. They don't just play the game, they shape it. This is exactly what separates extraordinary achievers from the merely hardworking. Most people are tactical executors. They're good at completing tasks, meeting deadlines, solving immediate problems, but strategic thinkers, they're playing a completely different game. They don't just climb the ladder, they make sure it's leaning against the right wall. I learned this from a CEO who built a billion-dollar company from scratch. He told me most people spend their time chopping down trees in the forest. Strategic thinkers take time to sharpen their axe, study the forest layout, and sometimes realize they're in the wrong forest altogether. The key is allocating your time between strategic thinking and tactical execution. Spend 20% of your time planning, analyzing, and strategizing. This investment will make the other 80% exponentially more effective. Relationship capital. This is where the magic really happens. Money can be earned and lost, but relationship capital compounds over time. I've watched countless brilliant individuals fail simply because they worked in isolation. Meanwhile, others achieved massive success by understanding that your network literally becomes your net worth. Every major opportunity in my life came through relationships, not from sending out resumes, not from blind applications, from real, meaningful connections with people who knew my value. It's not about collecting business cards or LinkedIn connections. It's about becoming a value multiplier in other people's lives. When you help others succeed, success comes back to you multiplied. This leads perfectly into our third multiplier, adaptable expertise. The world is changing faster than ever before, and static knowledge is becoming obsolete at an alarming rate. The most successful people I've studied share one common trait. They're constant learners. They don't just acquire knowledge. They adapt and evolve their expertise based on market demands. They're like surfers who can read the waves before they form. I remember interviewing a tech entrepreneur who said something profound. The skills that got me here won't get me there. He spends 3 hours every morning studying emerging trends, new technologies, and market shifts. That's adaptable expertise in action. Emotional intelligence might be the most underrated success factor in business today. Technical skills might get you in the door, but emotional intelligence gets you to the boardroom. It's about understanding not just what people say, but why they say it. It's about reading the room, managing relationships, and influencing outcomes without authority. I've seen brilliant technicians passed over for promotion, while people with average technical skills but high emotional intelligence soar to the top. Why? Because business is fundamentally about people. Understanding human psychology isn't just helpful, it's crucial. Time leverage, our fifth multiplier, is where most high achievers separate themselves from the pack. It's not about working more hours. It's about making your hours work for you. The most successful people I know have mastered the art of multiplication through delegation, automation, and systems thinking. If you're still doing $10 per hour tasks in a $1,000 hour per hour business, you're not just wasting time. You're actively limiting your success. The key is focusing on high leverage activities that create exponential returns. The most successful people don't just work hard. They work hard on the right things at the right time. They recognize patterns others miss. They see opportunities where others see obstacles. They understand that timing isn't just important, it's everything. I've studied people who seem to have an almost magical ability to be in the right place at the right time. But it's not magic. It's a developed skill of pattern recognition combined with the courage to take calculated risks. In today's world, your personal brand isn't just important, it's your most valuable asset. It's not about self-promotion. It's about becoming known for delivering consistent value in your chosen field. Think about any highly successful person you admire. Their name alone carries weight. Their opinion matters. Their presence in a deal changes everything. That's the power of a strong personal brand. This isn't about social media followers or likes. It's about building genuine authority through consistent value delivery. It's about becoming the go-to person in your field, the one people think of when opportunities arise. These 7 multipliers work together, creating a compound effect that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. But understanding them is just the first step. The real magic happens in how you implement them. Now here's where everything comes together. These 7 multipliers aren't just separate tools, they're interconnected forces that, when properly integrated, create what I call the success acceleration effect. Think about a jet engine for a moment. A single part, no matter how well crafted, can't power the aircraft. It's the precise integration of multiple components that creates the thrust needed for flight. Your success works the same way. I remember consulting with a brilliant entrepreneur who was struggling. Despite mastering several of these multipliers individually, he had strong strategic thinking, great expertise, and worked incredibly hard. But something was missing. His breakthrough came when he understood how to integrate these elements. Here's the framework that transformed his business, and it will transform yours too. Start with strategic thinking as your foundation. Every morning, before the world starts making demands on your time, spend 30 minutes in strategic thought. But here's the key. Filter these thoughts through the lens of your relationship capital. Ask yourself, how can I leverage my expertise to solve problems for my network? How can I create value for others while building my brand? This simple integration of multiple multipliers creates compound returns. But watch out for the most common pitfall I see. People tend to focus on 1 or 2 multipliers while neglecting the others. That's like trying to drive a car with only 2 wheels. You might move, but you won't get far. When you're building relationship capital, you're also creating opportunities for pattern recognition. When you're developing your personal brand, you're simultaneously building emotional intelligence. Each multiplier strengthens the others. Here's a practical example. I worked with a sales executive who was struggling to meet her targets. She was working harder than ever, but hitting a ceiling. We analyzed her approach and found she was using each multiplier in isolation. She'd network at events, relationship capital, but wasn't leveraging her emotional intelligence during these interactions. She was managing her time well, but wasn't applying strategic thinking to her schedule. We created an integrated approach. Every networking event became an opportunity for both relationship building and pattern recognition. Every client interaction became a chance to demonstrate expertise while strengthening her personal brand. Within 3 months, her results doubled, not because she worked harder, but because she worked integrated. The success acceleration technique I'm about to share is something few people understand. It's about creating what I call multiplier moments, situations where you can activate multiple success factors simultaneously. For instance, when you're in a meeting, don't just focus on the immediate discussion. Listen for underlying patterns, opportunity recognition. Demonstrate your expertise at personal brand. Build connections, relationship capital, and read the emotional undercurrents, emotional intelligence. One meeting, multiple multipliers, exponential results. This integration framework isn't just about doing more. It's about achieving more with the same effort. Think of it like compound interest for your actions. Every time you integrate multiple multipliers, your effectiveness doesn't just add up, it multiplies. But here's the critical warning. Don't try to integrate all 7 multipliers at once. Start with 2 or 3 that naturally complement each other. Master their integration, then gradually add more. This prevents overwhelm and ensures sustainable progress. The real power comes when you start seeing these multipliers not as separate strategies, but as different facets of the same diamond. Each one reflects and amplifies the others, creating a brilliance that's impossible to achieve otherwise. This brings us to the practical implementation of these integrated multipliers. You need a clear step-by-step action plan that turns this understanding into real-world results. Let me share with you exactly how to turn these principles into daily actions that create extraordinary results. This isn't theory, this is your battle plan for success. Let's start with your morning routine, because this is where success is first won or lost. The most successful people I've studied all have one thing in common: they own their mornings. Here's your new success routine designed to activate all 7 multipliers from the moment you wake up. First hour of your day, start with 20 minutes of strategic thinking. Not checking emails, not responding to messages, pure uninterrupted strategic thought. Ask yourself, what's the highest leverage activity I can focus on today? What opportunities am I not seeing? How can I create more value? Next, spend 15 minutes reviewing your relationship capital journal. Yes, you need to start keeping one. Write down 3 people you can add value to today. Not asking for anything, just giving value. This activates both your relationship capital and personal brand multipliers simultaneously. The rest of your morning power hour focuses on adaptable expertise. Read industry news, study market trends, learn one new skill. Remember, in today's world, if you're not growing, you're falling. Your weekly planning framework. Every Sunday evening, take 30 minutes to plan your week using what I call the multiplier matrix. Divide your activities into 4 categories. Strategic activities, these build long-term success. Relationship building, these expand your network and influence. Learning and growth, these increase your value. Brand enhancement, these amplify your impact. The key is ensuring you have activities in each category every week, no exceptions. A powerful daily habit that most people miss. End each day with a 5-minute opportunity scan. Review everything that happened, looking specifically for patterns and opportunities others might miss. Write down any insights. This simple habit has helped me spot countless opportunities that turned into major breakthroughs. Monthly reviews are critical for maintaining momentum. On the first of each month, ask yourself these key questions. Which multiplier showed the strongest results last month? Where are my blind spots? What relationships need more attention? How has my expertise grown? What new patterns am I noticing? But where most people go wrong, they do these reviews but don't adjust their strategy based on the answers. Your monthly review should always end with specific action steps for the next 30 days. Quarterly goal setting is where we bring everything together. Every 90 days, you need to have what I call a multiplier summit with yourself. Block out 3 hours, no interruptions. This is where you plan your next level of success. But by reviewing your progress in each multiply. Strategic thinking. Are you seeing further ahead than 90 days ago? Relationship capital. How has your network grown and deepened? Adaptable expertise. What new skills have you mastered? Emotional intelligence. How have your relationships improved? Time leverage. Are you focusing on higher value activities? Opportunity recognition. What patterns are you now seeing? Personal brand. How has your influence grown? Then set specific targets for each multiplier for the next quarter. But here's the crucial part. Make sure these targets integrate with each other. For example, don't just set a goal to learn new skills, adaptable expertise. Connect it to building your personal brand and expanding your relationship capital. Implementation becomes seamless when you use what I call the daily power block system. Block out 2 hours each day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon for high leverage activities that combine multiple multipliers. During the power blocks, focus on activities that create compound returns. For example, writing an industry analysis piece uses your expertise, builds your brand, and creates opportunities for relationship building when you share it with your network. The final piece of your implementation strategy is what I call the success journal. Every evening, record 3 things. 1 strategic insight you gained. 1 relationship you strengthened. 1 opportunity you identified or created. This simple habit ensures you're constantly thinking in terms of multipliers rather than just tasks. Remember, success leaves clues. The habits we've just covered aren't just good ideas. They're the exact practices I've seen create extraordinary results time and time again. But knowing them isn't enough. You need to take action. What fascinates me most about success? It's not reserved for a select few. It's available to everyone willing to think differently about how they approach their work and their life. Remember those two individuals I mentioned at the beginning? The ones who both worked incredibly hard, but achieved vastly different results. The difference between them wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It wasn't even hard work. The difference was understanding and applying these success multipliers. Right now, you're standing at a crossroads. You can continue down the path of pure hard work, pushing harder, working longer, doing more. Or you can take the path of the exponential achiever, someone who understands that true success comes from combining hard work with these 7 critical multipliers. I've shared these principles with thousands of people across the globe. And you know what's remarkable? Those who implement them don't just see small improvements. They experience complete transformations in their results, their impact, and their lives, where you want to be 1 year from today. Now imagine getting there in half the time, with half the struggle, while making twice the impact. That's not just possible, it's predictable when you apply these principles. But here's the truth you need to hear. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. You've learned the principles, you understand the framework. Now comes the most important part, taking action. Start today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Begin with your morning power hour. Start your success journal. Schedule your first strategic thinking session. Take one step, however small, toward integrating these multipliers into your life. Remember this, every successful person you admire started exactly where you are right now, with a decision to do things differently. They chose to think differently. They chose to act differently. And most importantly, they chose to begin. The only question that remains is, what will you choose? Will you choose to continue down the path of hard work alone? Or will you choose to become a multiplier, someone who creates exponential results through the intelligent application of these success principles? The decision is yours, but I urge you, don't let this be just another presentation you've attended. Don't let these principles become just another set of notes in your journal. Let this be the moment everything changed. That sounds what I know with absolute certainty. The principles I've shared with you today work. They work if you're starting your first business or running a Fortune 500 company. They work if you're 25 or 65. They work in every industry, every market, and every economy. But they only work if you work them. The future belongs to those who understand that success isn't just about working harder. It's about working smarter, working strategically, and most importantly, working with these critical multipliers. Your future starts now. What will you do with it? Stand up, take action. Become the multiplier you were meant to be. I know many of you have questions burning in your minds right now. That's good. It shows you're already thinking about how to apply these principles to your unique situation. The most common question I hear is, where do I start? The answer is simple. Start with the morning power hour. Nothing will transform your results faster than owning that first hour of your day. Remember, success is created in the quiet moments before the world wakes up. Another question I often hear is, how long before I see results? Here's what I can tell you from experience. When you implement these multipliers consistently, you'll start seeing small wins within the first week. But the real magic, the exponential results, typically emerge within 90 days. Some of you might be wondering about tools and resources. Start with the basics, a journal, a calendar, and uninterrupted time. These are your foundational tools. The most powerful resource you have is your focused attention. For implementation, remember this framework. Think, plan, act, review. Think strategically each morning. Plan your multiplier activities each week. Act with purpose each day. Review and adjust each evening. The next steps are crystal clear. Today, start your success journal. Tomorrow morning, begin your power hour. This Sunday, create your first weekly multiplier plan. Next month, conduct your first monthly review. Many of you will face obstacles. You'll have days when old habits try to creep back in. That's normal. But remember this success is not about perfection. It's about progression. I want you to take one immediate action right now. Pull out your phone, open your calendar, and block out tomorrow's power hour. That single action will set everything else in motion. Success is a decision. You've learned the principles. You understand the framework. Now it's time to take action. The future belongs to those who act. Make it yours. Let's open up for questions.